Click the first link in the description for the best Askreddit content. Partner repeatedly putting our child in danger. Hi everyone, I'm F/28. My partner is M/36. We have a 4-year-old daughter together. We've been together for 7 years now. I have so much to say here, but I'm going to try keep it short as possible. Him and I are still together, but we live separately and a long distance away. Our daughter lives with me and sees him once a week for a day, sometimes twice a week. My partner has autism. This has been diagnosed when he was younger. He works, but his work life has had to be tweaked to his ability. He struggles terribly with social situations and especially seeing a cause and effect of something. He can't grasp how X thing leads to Y thing, or why someone may have got offended by something he's said, etc. I've always understood those issues and it's never really been a problem. But then we had a failed contraception and I had our daughter, so now I have plenty more opportunities to see how much he really does struggle. He tries really hard, and all in all, he's a great father. They have a great bond together. However, because of his autism, and maybe other issues, he is extremely dangerous around her. I could be here forever listing all the things, but just a few. He's left her completely on her own in a play center aged 3 while he walked back to his car to fetch something that was unimportant and could have waited, and was gone for 20 minutes. The staff there were running around trying to find him and calling him over the intercom. He's tried to send her back home on her own in a taxi because he was running late and didn't want to do the journey here to drop her off. Again aged 3. He's gave her a rancid yogurt that made her sick because he didn't understand that an opened yogurt that's been left out in a boiling car for 4 days will go off. She threw up while in her car seat once, so he decided to take her out of it, put it in the back of the car and just drove around while trying to hold her in the standard seat with his arm, because he didn't want her sitting in her sick. Aged 1.5. I went insane over this and he said I was making a big deal over nothing because he's a safe driver. I've caught her recently playing with a carving knife that he'd left right on the edge of the table while being oblivious to it. It just goes on and it's endless. I understand that he can't help it and he's not doing it intentionally, but it doesn't make the situation any easier because I don't know what to do for the best. I feel like I always have to be around to monitor him, and our daughter says often how she just wants some time with him and to go whatever particular place with him. It's really affecting us all and I'm at a loss what to say anymore or where to go from here. I'm completely overwhelmed trying to care for a 4-year-old, my disabled mom, my partner and myself. TL Doctor. Partner/child's father has autism and perhaps other things which are putting our daughters safely at risk and seriously affecting our relationship. It doesn't really matter if it's intentional. Your partner is a danger to your child. Your child's safety takes precedence over your partner's feelings. Anything and everything about your relationship with this man, put it all aside for now. All of it is a distant second to your child's requirements for safety and welfare. This man is incapable of taking care of a child and cannot be left alone with her for any reason, ever again. You are going to have to be, essentially, a single parent to her. Whilst it sounds to me like she is safe with him if he is supervised the entire time by another adult, that is the extent that he can be allowed to shoulder any responsibility for her. You sound overwhelmed by your current responsibilities, but that does not change this reality. I would reach out to your local resources for help. If you have to, just key in your questions on Google "need help with childcare" etc. and search for resources in your area. Autistic person and student here. I'll be blunt. You cannot continue to leave your child and your partner together without you there. He isn't making normal parenting mistakes. He is seriously unsafe. It sounds like you might not be in the US. In the US, I would be legally obligated to contact the local child welfare authority if I knew your child in real life. There is even potential here that you could get in trouble if you continue to send your child there knowing what he does. You have 3 choices here, depending on the laws of wherever you are. A. Go with the child on visits and supervise them. B. Don't let the child visit anymore. C. Get a family law attorney and petition for physical custody for yourself with supervised parenting time only for him. This will get the child welfare authorities involved. Realistically, if you want to maintain any sort of relationship with your partner, you will only have A as an option. He tries really hard, and all in all, he's a great father. Trying is not enough. Your description makes it very clear that unfortunately, his cognitive limitations make him unable to make good parenting choices without in-person support from someone else. Your child's safety needs to come before his feelings. Unfortunately, you may need to go through the legal system. I wish you luck. Hi, could you maybe hire a sitter to be with them during their visits? Are you unable to live together right now? Do you see this relationship continuing much longer? Even though it isn't his fault, obviously your daughter's safety has to come first. Being alone with her father isn't safe. I hope you're able to find a way to work this out so they can have a good relationship throughout her life. He cannot have the child unsupervised. You know this. If something happens to her, protective services will be called in and you will have larger problems. Do not risk your low because he can't make the safe decisions for her. Dad, 59M, and Mom, 56F, were fighting and I, 21M, intervened. Now they're angry at me. I just graduated from college and I'm working remotely now because of the pandemic from my parents' home. They argue all the damn time. They were arguing a month ago and it got very scary with furniture and glass breaking and someone from our neighborhood called the police. No one got arrested. But I was so done with their behavior that I packed my bags to leave and they begged me to stop. My younger brother, 11M also was crying and wanted me to stay and I stayed for him. Now today, my mom returned home from work and my dad was yelling at her because she didn't cook lunch for him before leaving for work. The sheer audacity of my dad really got to my nerves. While this fight was going on, I was in a meeting with co-workers over video call and they heard as well. I exited the call and lost my temper at them. I told them that they were complete idiots and really unleashed a lot of rage at my dad for being such a misogynistic pig. Told him if he was hungry, he could have just asked me and I would have ordered something. They in turn, including my mom, got mad at me and said that I get angry easily and that I am the problem. Is this gaslighting? And I swear I don't get them. I really feel for my younger brother because he's always so scared with this and doesn't know what to do. Now my parents want me to apologize to them for being disrespectful. They then make up and the cycle continues while I'm labeled as the crazy one for telling them to knock it off. This is a reoccurring theme and it's affect both my mental health and also my career because my co-workers think I live with crazies. I want to leave my house now, but I also want to be there for my younger brother because he's honestly traumatized. I felt that since I intervened in such a threatening manner while my parents fought and really escalated the conflict, that this should deter them from ever starting one in the future. Am I in the wrong here? Sometimes I feel that I do lose my temper, but honestly it's because of their sheer lack of sympathy for how their constant fights affect not only me but my younger brother. My little brother sometimes goes into the corner of his room and starts crying when they fight. When I saw that today, I stormed into the room and honestly lost it at them. What can I do? I want to leave but I can't leave my brother with these crazies. I've told them that I want to leave this week and they start making excuses like it won't happen again or don't worry, this is normal in every house. This irks me the most because they normalize this kind of crazy behavior. They don't want me to leave and they're likely to create a scene. I have never been so lost in my life. I need some advice. Too long didn't read. Parents fight all the time. I want to leave, but have to stay for little brother. What to do? Move out. Is it true that your brother will have to live in less than ideal circumstances? Yes. Is this affecting your mental health and your job? Also yes. You are just getting your career started. Your parents are both completely self-focused. They obviously don't give a damn about you or your career. Move out. Get stable. Offer your brother a safe place to go when it hits the fan at home. Build your career. Concentrate on set improvement. Keep close tabs with your brother to ensure he is not suffering. Essentially, Take care of yourself so you can be in a position to watch over your brother. Edit, typo. Yeah, I guess. But I honestly feel so guilty leaving. The last time I was packed to go, he was crying and was holding on to me to not go. He even said that he won't have anyone to wipe his tears when he cries. Don't think I'll be able to live in peace knowing that he has to go through that all alone. Was it wrong of me to intervene? Sometimes I kick myself for doing that. But I just don't know what the best course of action should have been. Leave and report their violent outbreaks to CPS, then fight for custody of your brother and get him into therapy. If CPS won't take him away, they may be able to force your parents to take parenting classes and make sure your little bro is getting mental health support. My concern is not so much that they are arguing, but that they think that it is okay for them to act this way toward each other, let alone in front of you or your brother. Not only are they putting their children's mental and physical health and career at risk, but they are also teaching your young impressionable brother that this is how to treat people you love. In an ideal world, you could sit them down and explain calmly how this is affecting the people around them and they would understand, but this is so far removed from an ideal world that it's probably going to cause more drama than anything. Is there any way you could take custody of your brother? Have you sat down when everyone is calm and pointed out how it's affecting your brother and that he cries in the corner of his room? I get that you're trying to help, but yelling at them is just going to add to the problem and make them think you're part of the problem, too. If they're not going to be adults about it, someone should. Also, I know you're worried about your brother, but there is a point where you have to do what is right for you. The way the dad sounds, I would worry for the dad picking on the brother for not being manly enough. Move out and get a foot on. I get what state you live in, but when I went through my own abuse crap, my social worker told me that really, unless there's documented proof of the kid never being home, any CPS worker can walk into a kid's bedroom and go, "It looks like someone lives here." That said, you can hold a shit ton of sleepovers and brother days where he spends time at your place while it still looks like he lives at home. For the time where he's got to be at home, Christmas is the perfect time to get him some noise-cancelling headphones. It sucks and it's not ideal, but it's easier to give him a few avenues of escape as well. When you start to plan to leave, sit him down and explain it to him and talk it out. Obviously your presence there does nothing to deter the fighting, but you can offer him a safe place where he's not waiting for the next argument to start away from your parents. Now my parents want me to apologize to them for being disrespectful. They then make up and the cycle continues while I'm labeled as the crazy one for telling them to knock it off. Yeah, you are not the problem, they're both crazy. I think you should move out but stay in really close contact with your brother and let him stay with you whenever possible. I've told them that I want to leave this week and they start making excuses like it won't happen again or don't worry, this is normal in every house. No, it fucking isn't. I can't tell if they actually believe that bullshit or not, but they're awful and wrong. I'm 24F, pregnant with my best friend's 24F brothers, 26M baby, and I don't know how to tell her. I moved to a new city right before the pandemic hit. The only other person I know who lives here is my childhood best friend's Leah brother, Liam. Liam had agreed to show me around the city when I first moved here, so we were already talking before everything went into lockdown. A few weeks into the lockdown, Liam asked if I wanted to wait it out at his house since we both lived alone. His house is much nicer than my apartment and he has a backyard, so I agreed. I mentioned it to Leah, and she thought it was a great idea. We got drunk one night and ended up sleeping together. We hooked up a few times after that, but I ended up breaking it off. The reason is Leah and I used to also be best friends with Olivia. Liam and Olivia hooked up a few times, and when Liam refused to have anything serious, Olivia didn't take it well. She stopped being friends with Leah and our friendship group split in two after that. Leah basically made me promise to never do something like what Olivia did. Obviously, I ended up up doing the exact same thing, so when the guilt caught up to me, I had to break it off. Liam and I agreed never to mention what happened between us to his sister because neither of us wanted to hurt her. The problem is 2 weeks ago I found out I was pregnant. I haven't slept with anyone else, so Liam is definitely the father. We talked about it and came to the mutual decision to keep the baby. I now need to tell Leah and I don't know how. I really need advice on how to break the news to her. Too long didn't read, I slept with my best friend's brother and ended up pregnant. She made me promise never to hook up with him after another friend did and it ended up badly. I don't know how to tell her. Guess who's going to have a niece/nephew? Are you like together now? Because there's a world of difference between I've been seeing your brother and am pregnant and we're going to be a family versus I've been hooking up with your brother and accidentally got pregos, but it's chill, we're going to co-parent. Leah comes in a way distant fourth in this scenario. You don't even need to tell her right away. The bigger question is, what is your relationship with Liam? Are you trying to make the romance work, or are you just buddies who co-parent? Figure that out first. Choosing to keep the baby means you are gonna have to face this. There isn't a get out of jail free card you can play to make this easy. Just tell her. Try to stress that unlike Olivia, you won't be asking to split the friendship groups. You'll be co-parenting with her brother and won't try to cause a rift between him and her. Will still be her friend if she'll have you, and if she'll forgive you for the sneaking and betrayal. You did not do the same as Olivia. You and Liam split on good terms and you don't have a problem with Liam or his sister. Olivia struggled with unrequited love and had to distance herself to process it. The fallout of Olivia leaving was painful, but you don't manage your feelings by controlling other people's actions. Your friend making you promise to not have a relationship with her brother was an unhealthy coping mechanism. Now, starting a relationship with a friend's sibling does put the friendship at risk in case of a breakup, but you were willing to take that risk. Don't try to manage your friend's emotions. She's allowed to be upset. She still has to behave decently, because you're the mother of her future nephew/niece and it's best all involved behave maturely for the sake of the child. Tell her the news and give her space to process it. Don't try to manage her response. You're pregnant and you don't have the luxury to waste your energy on managing other people.